guys, it's good here, and this is my entire DLC 4 prediction video for Black Ops 2. As always, I've got my notes, and there's a lot of notes, and I just want to speculate and create some discussion about what the DLC 4 map will be. And it's inevitable, really. There's definitely going to be a 4th DLC, because Treyarch cannot afford financially and also community-wise to not put one out, because what they gave us, we buried, it was fantastic, but it left us on such a cliffhanger that we just need more to actually enjoy zombies, because at the moment, I'm so confused. So, before we get into it, I want to say that I want to get this out just after PS3 got buried, because I'm really scared, because at this time, Treyarch have put out so many weird clues about DLC 4 that are getting more and more precise, and they're escalating to a point where they're so consistent. They'll be announcing Black Ops 9 and creating so many trailers for this map that this video would not then be a prediction video, it'd be more of a backup video. And I'm pretty certain the first idea I'm going to put forward, there's going to be 5 in total, 3 maps and 2 discussions, and I'm pretty sure the first one will be the map. But again, it's open to discussion, guys. Leave your thoughts in the comments. So, let's start by retracing our steps, around Der Riese. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. What do I think the map's is going to be? It's going to be Paris, or at least somewhere in France. Now, Der Riese is a gold mine when it comes to clues, and it should be really, because it is the headquarters for 115 testing. It's a facility that is connected to everything and knows much more than what it's putting out in front of us. So, let's start off by looking at this astronaut in the green circle. There's a 5 next to it, and I actually base this on my moon theory, because the 5 indicated 5 playable characters, and if you include Samantha, and then also we'll be going to the moon or somewhere in space. So let's do the same thing with the image left of it, and it kind of looks like a country divided by the missiles. Maybe the country is France, or divided by something other. Now, although it's on the left, I mean, if we generally read stuff, we go from left to right. Now, although it's on the left, this means that this map should have been released before Moon. But if you don't already know, Moon was actually going to be a Paris map. I think the name in the PC zombies for Moon was something like zombie map _ Paris or something. It definitely said Paris, and it was like Treyarch just scrapped it. Like, they brought Moon in instead of Paris, and Treyarch just got rid of Paris. So hopefully they bring this back, and if they do, this does mean that they were developing this Paris map at the same time as Moon, and if they were, we're going to get something much better than the shit they've put in front of us at the moment, which is good. And we also see the word Vorsight, which could mean foresight, as this is, it could be indicating future maps, and because Moon was DLC 4, maybe this one's going to be DLC 4, and this indicates that each of these will be the last DLC. Now, I don't think it's going to be the last DLC for this COD. I think they might even bring out a DLC 5 for remastered maps, but it's going to be nothing new. This is going to be the last one we're going to get this year, which is going to contain new storyline and new stuff, unless they add all the perks like they did with Mule Kick again, and then that's going to contribute to the storyline, because Treyarch like to ruin things. But anyway, let's go on to something else. So, we can see 2 wooden signs with abbreviated country names, one for the Germans and one for the French, and again, that backs up what I want to say about France. So, let's get on to the corkboards, and these are just fantastic. We can see an overall map of France, and it's definitely France. I googled map image of France, and it's the same shape, but we can also kind of make out little pixels of the word France, so that's definitely France. They're definitely planning something in France. And also, some quotes are in German, we don't really need to worry about those. And then there's a schematic for a machine. It kind of sort of looks like a guillotine from the Buried Easter egg, but on another side, it kind of looks like a manufacturing machine, some kind of device that manufactures these metal men, quote-unquote, that we've been hearing a lot about. Now, we can even see little figures emerging from this device if we look really closely, which might be the metal men marching towards our characters or something, yeah, something like that. Now, what's really interesting, though, is we can see some photos on the board with zombies inside certain environments, such as Verrückt. You can also see one in front of the Eiffel Tower. So that means zombies have been in Paris. These are photos. These are prior Der Riese. So I'm thinking this France map may be somewhere in the past. I'm pretty sure Treyarch have been indicating the 1910s, like 17, just after the I think during the First World War, actually. The First World War ended in 1919, but that's during the First World War. That's going to be really cool. So this is prior Der Riese. We don't know anything prior Der Riese. So we are led to believe that Der Riese is where it all begun. This is when the zombie outbreak started. So maybe this kind of suggests that if there were zombies in Paris in a date not so long ago, this is when the zombies outbroke. I don't know. I think that's really cool. Now, we know that Treyarch likes to base maps on maps they've already created. So for example, Nakdototem was Airfield, Vogt was Asylum, and so on, and I've also made a video about what our core maps was based on. That'll be on the description or annotation on screen now. But you might say, but goody, Treyarch haven't released a map in France, so let alone Paris. Why would you bother? Why would they bother making a completely different map designed just for zombies? And well, you may have forgotten Modern Warfare 3, and there's actually a couple of missions in Paris for that. Now, I know when it comes to theories, I only ever look at CODs that Treyarch have helped out in, but if we look in the credits of Modern Warfare 3, yes, I actually sat through the credits, so you're welcome for that, but if we look at the credits, you can see that Treyarch helped out in the development of Modern Warfare 3, which is insane. This is huge news. Now, it's not clear what parts Treyarch helped out in, but they helped out, and this is why you can actually obtain the Treyarch emblem in multiplayer for killing someone with a stealth bomber in the final kill cam, I think. But yeah, that is why you can get the Treyarch emblem, because they helped out. And this is huge, because this means they're going to have access to whatever they help build. They're going to have the design, the files, whatever. So if they helped out on the Paris missions, which I believe they did, they will have the street layouts, the catacombs, and of course the Eiffel Tower saved in their system to then tweak into a zombie map. So I think that's really cool. So let's have a look at these missions then. So the first thing that strikes us from like the second we spawn in, which is not the tower, is the green mist, much like the Nova 6 gas talks so much about in Black Ops Zombies with the crawlers, Clark that harbored it in the beginning with the Pentagon Thief, Reznov coming into contact with it, Corba Dead based on Project Nova that Reznov came into. It's so much stuff with this Nova gas, and I think this is like Treyarch putting their stamp on the map from the offset. We have worked on this Paris map, here's a load of Nova gas, because inside these buildings, the first buildings we enter, we can see a load of dead people just wiped out by the gas, which we all know Nova 6 is incredibly toxic. So, just outside the building, we see this kind of palace place, which I'll be talking about later. The further on in the mission, we get to this notice board with identical stuff on it of that of Standoff. I mean, even the green piece of paper that looked like they had a teddy bear outline of that Standoff has, and we all know what Standoff has with the zombies are coming. And I know I said that Cargo had more zombies are coming post-it notes, but in fact I had to look around Standoff again and they had more zombies are coming this Cargo. So Treyarch might have gone back and edited that, or I was just being oblivious, but Standoff has like 4 or 5 zombies coming, Cargo has 2. So that is really, really interesting. So I don't know if Treyarch have just swapped and mixed and matched. I mean, maybe this is just a stock image that Activision owns and they're putting it in all the CODs because they're lazy. But that's quite convenient that Standoff has that, Modern Warfare 3 has that in a Paris mission, and also zombies are coming, that relates to that. Then that goes into Paris. So that's a lot of tenuous links. Don't you just love these? But that's kind of what my head is thinking. So, as well as this notice board, we can see kind of the same book and picture stock images used in this mission, and again, that may be the same thing that Activision are just borrowing stuff, but they're the same things we can see in like Hijacked and even zombie maps, like inside the mansion we can see books. Then we get to a point where we get an 8130 assist, and at this point we can see the tribute. Now the tribute is to basically remember the girl who died at 6 from cancer, and that was related to an Infinity Ward employee, therefore that's why we see bears in some shape or other inside each COD. Now this is a bigger tribute, however, as down these stairs we can see that this girl is holding a teddy bear along with a sledgehammer, and basically this is kind of saying that Sledgehammer Games and Infinity Ward are uniting because they've never created a game together before, but also this could mean that Samantha was here, or that a zombie storyline will be / has been here. Maybe that could have been in any map, but if Treyarch are getting involved, maybe that's indicating that Paris will be here instead of any zombie map will be here instead of any other maps. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so after we get here, we can actually enter the Catacombs, which would be an ideal setting / side setting inside an overall zombie map, like somewhere we would go other than like the outside place. And that's purely because they ooze death and creepiness. Now I'm not going to try and explain what the Catacombs are or how they would link in with zombies, because I found a video where they just does it all for me. Mr. Awful Waffles is incredible, and I'll link him on the screen, an annotation, and also he'll be in the description, because he does a flam-dabby-dozy job of explaining what the Catacombs are and how they'll be integrated. So check that out, guys. If you want to pause this video, go and check it out and then come back, and yeah, we'll continue. So there are also numbers inside these tunnels, inside the catacombs, and we all know about the numbers. They are really important when it comes to predictions, so numbers are brilliant, okay? So back to the footage. If Treyarch did help make this map, then they will have access and experience access in catacomb designing, so we might have something that looks a bit like this. Now, at the end of the mission, we are confronted with this house once more, and this goes back to what Treyarch's saying of, we started this, so we're going to end it, and if Treyarch started this with the start of the mission with this palace, and it ends with the mission with this palace, maybe that just means, you know, they like their wordplay, take that as you will. That's me just being very, very, you know, tenuous, but whatever. Now, on the second Paris mission, there's nothing really to explore because we're in an aircraft most of the time, but towards the end, we are really close to the tower, like ridiculously close to the Eiffel Tower. So if we zoom in, we can see mini radio towers pointing towards a big one, therefore indicating that all our work, all of our activating towers and all these Easter eggs are leading up to this one big tower. And even more towards the end, we see that the enemy brings out an array of heavy machinery, loads of firepower, which kind of ties in with what they're saying about the metal men. Then, the tower collapses, which could suggest that one of our two controllers, Richtofen or Maxis, has had their plan foiled, okay? So with that tower collapsing, one of their plans could not succeed, and therefore they cease. So lastly, it just makes sense. I mean, we've been activating fucking towers throughout this game. So what has a big tower? Paris has a big tower. There we go, Bob's your uncle. It's Paris. Now, the tower itself could hold so many secrets. I mean, it could be used to signal to other towers around the world, signal to the moon maybe, even have a little rocket inside going to the moon. So the tower could hold so many secrets. I'll be really interested to see, if it is Paris, what they're going to do with the Eiffel Tower, because it was built by 1910, or well, I think it was. It was constructed in the 1800s, I think. If it's not, oops, but whatever. And that's it for all my Paris bases. And I thought it was really interesting, but you know, we're far from done. So if we go back to that building that I was on about earlier, I swear I'd seen it before, something in that kind of shape. So I hopped on Mob of the Dead and looked at this poster. Now, I already have another theory based on this poster, but if we have a quick look at it, the characters we see have a strong resemblance to that of the ones we see on the movie posters on Studio. Now, before we even start looking around, let's just remember what Studio is based off of. It's based off of firing range, Tank Dempsey bullets, teddy bears, zombie writing, gateway to hell. It's all in firing range. So if we can, you know, have a map that's been produced and been from firing range, then it's going to have some sort of zombie stuff. And we've even seen that with Buried, because it's had a saloon, it's had some kind of Wild West setting in Studio for a film, and that's gone on to kind of predict Buried. So Studio is brilliant. So in Studio, we can see 3 posters for movies that Treyarch can put in there, and one of them is for a film regarding the moon. This poster has an almost identical, like, set of characters to the one in Mob of the Dead, even down to the placement of them. They're both in the bottom right. And if we zoom out a little, there is a sequel! Treyarch have taken the time to actually produce a sequel poster to the first film, which could indicate that we are returning to the moon, because there's a Space Monsters from the Moon 2. And now, why would we return to the moon? We might return to the moon to even save our old characters, or to stop either Richtofen or Maxis. Now, having thought about this, maybe all Paris will be is another teleport station, quite like the one like Area 51, to go back to the moon. Who knows? Maybe they'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, go back to the moon, but also visit Paris. We have been seeing a tremendous amount of moon references throughout all of our maps, though. Like, all the maps we played as have failed for, there's loads of moon references. I mean, in Transit, we have this arrow that spells moon, and that points in this building, okay? And inside this building is the only painting that I didn't really understand, and originally thought that would be Mob of the Dead. And actually, that painting can be found in the Office of Demise from another angle, so I kind of got that right with Mob of the Dead, but it still could be something much, much more. Now, in Die Rise, if you got the SUV, looked at the moon, you could see the red dots, which is Griffin Station. So again, a moon reference. And in Buried, we have what looks to be like the excavators. Like, I've had so many people that spawn in for the first time, look at the surroundings and go, that looks like that Black Ops multiplayer map, Radiation. I'm like, yeah, because they took the excavators from Radiation to the moon. And again, that may be what they based what they're basing Buried off, the kind of excavators, quarry kind of thing, what they're mining. So, other things around Studio then is a UFO crash, which has the same electrical glow kind of thing around the floating apple of Hangar 18. So it's kind of got the same electrical field. Now, on the numbers side of things, there's numbers on the stage doors, actually looking at the hangar in the Hangar 18 itself, and also the not so kind of poke machines are there, you know, the water and the lava thing. And also, inside the set, the Space Monsters are 2, with the actual filming in progress, we can see some ray guns, which is really, really interesting to see. I mean, they're putting some Nazi zombie weapons inside these maps to kind of say, listen, we're going back to the moon. These exist. So, that is why we could easily be going back to the moon. And lastly, on map design, I just want to talk about why we could be returning to Der Riese. Now, Der Riese is allegedly where it all started, the giant project. So, with what Treyarch is saying about, you know, we started it, so we can end it, it makes sense to end it there. And also, Der Riese has so many secrets still unfound, and rooms that are unfinished, so Treyarch could go back and fix them up easily. So with this idea, I'm going to put out a video about what we could return to, and then what they could elaborate on. I'll put that in about the next couple of weeks or so, so check back on my channel for that. But let's get straight on to what I want to say. So, they are literally what I think are going to be the zombie maps. You want to return to Der Riese, the moon, or we go to Paris, okay? So, again, there wasn't much about Der Riese that links it back to Der Riese other than what Treyarch said, but I still believe Paris is the strongest contender. So before we go, I just want to talk about 3 map theories for DLC 4 that I want to provoke some discussion. So these are the ones I don't have any like map basis other than like, you know, because like Paris and Moon and Der Riese had a map to base on. These don't have any maps, so Treyarch would be creating these from scratch. So, if we go back to the posters inside Studio, we can see the beast from below, and really all this suggests to me is something to do with an underwater map and mostly Atlantis, and this has been in speculation for ages, and it's definitely on the cards, because Treyarch can't just ignore this, but I'm yet to see any hardcore map bases of Atlantis or any ancient ruin diving things that were going under. I mean, there was a kind of underwater mission in Modern Warfare 3, but you didn't like go into any ruins, so I didn't really look at that. So the next thing is the Shangri-La Mountains. Again, these are argued for some time. Even Jimmy tweeted out a tweet going, the Shangri-La Mountains, what do they mean? And we could see them return, or maybe even find out how Brock got trapped in there or what he was trying to find, which would be really, really interesting. Then we have the Orgatha or the Aether, and I'm pretty sure they are the same thing, but if not, I am very, very sorry. And basically, Maxis keeps banging on about how Samantha is trapped and how he needs to control the Aether to be reunited. So we may be even seeing a map based around that. So there we go, guys. They are all the maps that we will be seeing sometime sooner in the distant future, depending on how long Zombies lives on for. Just 2 final things before I go regarding other stuff. So, the first thing is the characters. Who will we play inside these new maps? And as much as it pains me to say this, I want to play as Malton, Misty, Russell, and Samuel, and now before you unsub and dislike and produce so much flame in my comments that I'll have to disable them, let me explain why. And basically, these characters are on their own little quest, aren't they? They're being dragged around by both controllers, and it just seems fitting and fair that they're able to complete their quest. However, there's every chance that we will see our Fab 4, especially if we go back in time, because on Round Infinity, the new crew put up a good fight, but eventually they did die in Berry. Now the thing is, will our old crew be alive in 1917? Would they even been born? Maybe they'll have found some kind of teleporter on Moon that teleports them or something, but if not, be prepared for more obnoxious quotes from Misty and even some new characters working in Paris, because again, this is so far back in time. Mob of the Dead was back in time. This is, I think, even like before Mob of the Dead, so we might be seeing new characters. And maybe new zombie eyes, who knows? But think about it. Do you really want our Fantastic Four in this train wreck of the game? So no, you don't. The Black Ops 2 is terrible, so stop be complaining and suck it up. We're probably play as who we are already, but I don't want to see our lovely characters inside a game that sucks horse dick. Like, there's no beating around the bush. I don't like Black Ops 2. And lastly, guys, this may sound crazy, but we might actually get to play. We might be able to have 2 zombie maps inside DLC 4. That sounds really crazy, but Treyarch can do anything. I mean, they put out Resurrection, which was a whole zombie DLC, but again, they were maps we've already played. We might get 2 new zombie maps this time. I mean, what Treyarch are releasing at the moment are clues to 1 zombie map that are completely taking our attention away from what else they might be planning. I mean, the end game at the end of Buried are 2 extremely different outcomes. One with Richtofen controlling Samuel, and the other when he is a zombie. I mean, with this said, the map will have a totally different era/feel about regarding who is in control, and that is why we might be seeing 2 maps instead of 1, but only 1 playable one, deciding on who you backed in the Easter eggs. Now, I don't know. I mean, Treyarch only wants your money, so I doubt they'll stop you from playing their maps, but maybe that's why they give you the option to pull the end game, reset your Easter eggs, so then you could go on the other map. But, you know, they're so contrasting in their outcomes that it's near impossible to make a map that fits the thing that Richtofen's going to either be in Samuel or is a zombie, and Maxis is either controlling or Richtofen is. It's very hard to make a map that's going to fit either side of that end game. So that's about it, guys. That about sums up everything I want to say. So thank you all very much for listening. I know I'm a bit boring, but hopefully I've made up some good predictions here, and it's taken me quite a while to make this, so if you did enjoy it, please leave a like rating, tell me how I did in the comments, and hopefully we'll be playing Paris sometime soon, okay? So I'll see you later, guys. It's been Goody, and goodbye.
Can't go prone with this weapon, so... Wow! My PhD flopped and died.
I don't want to talk about it.
You lost it first.
Apparently, I lost PhD flopper. That's 15.
I didn't.